Welcome to The Creative Influencer, where we discuss all things creative with an emphasis on influencers. The Creative Influencer is hosted by John Pfeiffer. John is an entertainment attorney in Santa Monica, California, who represents influencers and other creatives.
This is episode 1 of the 5th season of the Creative Influencer podcast. Today we interview Olivia D'Andrea. Olivia has over 2.25 million YouTube subscribers and creates videos about food, self-improvement, and, in her words, the delightfully chaotic adventures of a girl in progress. She says on her channel that, quote, "I've made a lot of mistakes and lost a few years of my life, so I hope with all my heart that my videos help and spark a fire in you to lose your fear, gain control over yourself, and find out what could be. Don't ignore your own potential." Close quote. Olivia shares her advice and thoughts on creating engaging content and how her YouTube channel has matured in tandem with her own personal growth. So enjoy. I am joined today by Olivia D'Andrea. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You bet. So now you have 2.25 million YouTube subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And on your the description on your YouTube, it's the channel's about food, dating, self-improvement, and delightfully chaotic adventures of a girl in progress, that being you.
Yeah.
So I want to come back to the two. You're in season 2 of the Glow Up Diaries, and I want to ask you about those.
Mm-hmm.
But let me set the scene by finding a little bit about you before we get into the channel.
Okay.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Glendora, California.
And I found that you joined YouTube far too early. In the sense of the age restrictions, because I watched your 14th birthday video.
Yeah, I started, I think when I was 14, yeah.
You were 13 actually when you started.
Oh, okay.
Because you had here's 3 things people don't know about me videos.
Mm-hmm.
And one of your very early ones was that you speak Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
you dance,
Mm-hmm.
and you play the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still dance and play the piano?
Yeah. Not so much dance anymore, but I do play the piano.
There was one of your early videos also was about how to do the splits.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I want to know is, and you were showing, oh, you do this stretch and you do that stretch, and I'm watching that video thinking, she's already pretty bendy, before you start to stretch.
Yeah.
So how long would it take somebody that is not as flexible as you to be able to do the splits?
It definitely depends on everybody's body, because I think that genetics definitely plays a role, how consistent you are with the stretches, how much you're willing to push past your limits. I would say lots of people have messaged me, maybe an average between it really depends on where you're starting. If you're could you give me an example of someone just like an average girl like me?
Well, no, because you're not an average girl in the sense of you're very flexible to begin with.
Or just more, because females are more flexible. Yeah. So for females, maybe a month or 2 months. Yeah, maybe 3.
I did yoga for years, and there was no way I was ever going to be as flexible as the women in the class.
I think it's a little bit of belief, and if you're willing to go through the pain.
Right. So tell me about the moment you decided to start a YouTube channel.
I don't know if I have a specific moment. The moment I do remember is editing on my sister's laptop and instantly falling in love. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And I love the idea of just kind of having my own space where I could just make it my own and do whatever I want. And so that just sort of became my obsession in high school. Like that's all I ever did was make YouTube videos.
And then did you join Instagram at about the same time?
No, I joined probably when I was like 12 years old. And the thing is, I think I always had a goal to like want to do social media, because when I was 12 years old, I would post these photos of myself doing these like flexible poses. And, I didn't really know how to gain followers. So I would constantly be like direct messaging these big accounts that would feature people's flexibility photos, saying like, will you feature me and things like that. And I always got ignored. Like I got rejected so many times. So it's just interesting to see, if you don't give up.
Yeah. So eventually it started to pay off. What can you point to one video or one post that was kind of the breakthrough?
Yes, I know which one that was. It was my daily stretching routine. And I think the reason it did well was, number one, it was the thumbnail. The thumbnail was catchy. And it was just attractive. And then I think it was that people learned something from that video. They said, wow, your stretching routine actually made me more flexible. So I started to get requests below that video asking for more tutorials on how to become more flexible. And that's where I started to develop this niche, because before that, I was sort of all over the spectrum. I was just making vlogs about my life and people weren't really benefiting from my videos, but I was just sort of having fun trying everything out. So
You mean people can't benefit from getting a tour of your bedroom?
yeah. I mean, I would say it's that there were so many people doing bedroom tours. So I tapped into like a niche that wasn't like popular on YouTube. Like no one was really doing
No,
it.
I can say that almost all of my clients started with bedroom tours when they were just starting out.
Right. The go-to.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Who is your target audience?
I would say it really ranges, because I have girls, definitely females, girls who are like 12 to 15 years old, 16, and then also a lot older, like 18 to like 30 years old. I think it's because when I did stretching tutorials, it was a lot of girls who were on dance teams in high school or middle school wanting to become more flexible. And then when I started the Glow Up Diaries, I think it attracted more of a mature audience, and I moved into self-improvement content. So that's probably where
Which is a great transition.
Thank you.
Tell me about the Glow Up Diaries.
The Glow Up Diaries is a raw documentation of my mental and physical transformation. So, the story behind that is, for a while, actually, when I was doing stretching tutorials, I always said to myself, I'm not creatively satisfied. I don't just want to like teach people something. Like I want to inspire people. Like I just want to tell stories. And so in my own life, I just sort of started to have these negative things come up. I developed cystic acne senior year in high school. I injured my leg at the time, so I couldn't dance anymore. And also I was getting college admission results. So I was just going through a really tough time in my life, especially the acne. It really hurt my confidence and I felt really alone. So I was like, you know what? I want to show people that I'm going to get through this. And because I think that other girls are also other boys and girls are also struggling. So I just wanted to show them you can get through this and not make people feel so alone. So that's kind of why I started the Glow Up Diaries.
Season 1 started when you were 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And season 2 started when you were 19.
Yes. Yeah.
Plans for season 3?
No season 3. I've thought about it. I was like, the only way I would do a season 3 is if I go through a breakup or something and I'm in like a glow up. So that's the only way I would do a season 3.
So which is another transition. How is it to be as public as you are and date?
I'm going to say I haven't really dated in a while, but last time I did, I think that I don't want to say that there are people who would like be more interested in me just because of like my channel or something, but I have unfortunately had those encounters, which I don't really even like And so I guess it's just about meeting someone and authentically connecting with them. Yeah, I
Do you
don't
think
have.
it's hard? Do you think it's harder to meet people because you do put your life out there?
I will say actually thinking about it, I did have this one experience when I was living in Taiwan. I lived there for like a year when I was 19 years old, and I met this guy, and we went out together, and he sort of like assumed things about me. And so like we would be talking about something and he would say something about me. I'm like, why do you think that? He's like, well, it's pretty obvious from your channel. And I'm like, oh gosh, why are you like, that's one side of me. That's not the whole version of me. And I think we forget that, right? And especially me being so open about my struggles with my own confidence and things like that. Like you don't know that when you meet someone. And so for people to know that I struggled, it definitely, it's hard, but I think when it's in the past, it doesn't really affect me. But if you're like going through it in that moment, it's more difficult.
So and I'm going to skip ahead a bit because it comes to the perfect timing for it. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being it affects you terribly and 1 being, doesn't really bother me. How does criticism affect you? Comments on the channel.
Probably so earlier this year, I got a lot of criticism on Glow Up Diary season 2, which I was not expecting. And I've never received so much. I think criticism, I always shift it in a positive way. Like I try to like for example, earlier this year, when I returned to YouTube, I wasn't so cautious about trigger warnings. And so the criticism I got from that helped me be a better creator. And hate, is a different thing. And that really affected me this year. So I would say earlier this year probably affected me like an 8 or 7. Wait, 10 being a lot, right?
Right, 10 being a lot.
Yeah, 8 or 7. I think now it's maybe like a 3 or 4 because I'm starting to learn something, which is that I can't keep reading what everybody has to say about me because that's just going to confuse my own beliefs. And I have to live my life the way that's best for me. And so I've been learning to sort of channel it out and realize it doesn't hold as much impact as I let it. So maybe now it's like a 3 or a 4.
Do you read the comments still?
I do love reading comments because it motivates me. I do have like a very positive glow up community. So like people are so sweet. Like that's what motivates and drives me, is like connecting with people. I think I started a separate Instagram account that was purely for the glow up diaries. So I sort of just read a lot of comments there because everyone is so like empowering and supportive. And if they do have criticism, they say it in a way that's like, they want the best for me. Because I've certainly got like hate. That's not fun.
No, I and all of my clients face that, but I just don't understand who has the time to go on and post negative comments on people's channels.
I know. It's really sad.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
Shifting again, what is your biggest challenge when you're creating content? Take me through your creative process.
Mm-hmm. I would say, I'm still trying to work on it, is when you're storytelling, there's like so much freedom. Like with creativity, there is no instruction manual of A, B, C, D. When I was creating tutorials on YouTube, very easy to do those because it's just the same thing. But when you're telling stories, it's like you can start anywhere. And so I would say my biggest challenge is how do I present this story in an engaging and creative way? How do I get certain shots and certain scenes? And it's like the way I edit it. So probably editing.
Do you have somebody help you take the videos?
Help me what?
Take the videos?
Take the videos. Sometimes, like maybe my younger sister. Oh, I have worked with a filmer before. But yeah, lately I've just been kind of doing it on my own. Like if it's in my apartment, it's probably all me. Even out on the street, I'll just like take my tripod out there. It's more if, only sometimes.
How long does it take you start to finish by the time you conceive of the idea to shoot it, to edit it, and to get it ready to go up?
Honestly, I've only sort of focused on the glow up diaries. So that's kind of difficult to answer because the glow up diaries, the way I did it was that I just filmed myself for a very long time. And at the very end, I went back and edited it and told the story. So I'm not really sure. It's like so dependent. Maybe I could say like, because every video is so different. Like some videos require such deep research that takes me like one of my videos, I just remember, let's see, I did it last year and I had to do a lot of research. I think it took me a week and I worked on it like from like 8 a.m. till like 9 p.m. Well, I would take little breaks here and there, but
Right.
yeah.
Right. Do you ever feel burnt out?
Yeah, I think it comes down, I think burnout comes down to purpose and work habits. I burned out this year because I didn't have a good work ethic, and I didn't really instill balance into my life.
When you talk work ethic, you're talking work-life balance.
Yeah, well, yeah, because like earlier this year when I started started editing Glow Up Diary season 2, I basically locked myself in my apartment and just worked on it like 18 hours a day. Like it got so weird to the point where I would get up just to use the restroom. It would feel weird. I'm like, what am I doing? Like that's like not healthy.
Time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's why I burned out earlier this year.
Is there a question you wish people would stop asking you?
Not really. I don't think I have like anything. Yeah.
When was the first time somebody recognized you out on the street?
I was at the airport and I was going, so I entered this film festival and my film got chosen. So I was going to San Francisco for the little like, what do you call it? Awards. Yeah. And so this girl came up to me and said hello. So I was like, oh my gosh, and I think at the time I had like 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah. Have you had an I've made it moment?
No. I definitely need to work on celebrating milestones. Even when I hit 1 million subscribers, it was really like anticlimactic. Like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I was just sitting in my room. I was like, oh, okay, 1 million. Okay, whatever.
How did you find out?
How did I find out? How did I find out? I was just editing. Like, oh, well, no, because I was like at 999,000. So I think I was just in my college dorm room alone editing my video. And then it showed up 1 million. And I was like, oh my gosh, yay. But yeah.
Do you consider yourself to be an influencer?
An influencer?
Influencer, yes.
Okay. You know, the name has such a negative connotation, like that I don't really like to associate myself like with the negative vibes of it. But sometimes I feel like influencer could be such like a positive way of seeing it too. It's just depending on how you look at it. I mean, based off of what people have messaged me on Instagram, they said that I inspired them to live a healthy lifestyle. I could say that I have like influenced some people. And I think I feel this way because I've been influenced by others. Like there's certain people that I really look up to and how they influence my behavior. So, yeah, I mean, I want to say yes, without all like the negative stuff.
The negative baggage that goes with it.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody that wants to start a YouTube channel?
I would say a lot of us usually, it's harder to grow your channel if you're just like starting off sharing your life because people don't really care because they don't know who you are. Like you have to give them a reason to care. So if you don't really have that personality to sell, You have to have like good ideas or teach people something. Basically, don't focus on adding value to other people's lives. How does your content move people in some way? Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to my version of 73 questions vote.
All right.
Okay. What question would you like to know the answer to?
Okay, what comes to mind, but I don't even really care for this, is why is the sky blue? Like, I've actually never looked that up. But yeah, I'm sure there's something way better, but yeah.
When it is safe to go out and COVID-19 is completely a thing of the past, what are the 3 first things you'd like to do?
I'd like to go to an art museum. I'd like to travel somewhere and probably go to a hot yoga class.
Yeah, that would be that. It's going to have to be a long time before I'll go into another hot yoga class.
I know.
Do you collect anything?
Books, physical books.
What kind of books?
All over the place, but mostly self-improvement books. Little bit of literature, just any books that I like.
You have a favorite?
The last book that sort of changed my life, like drastically, was Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. So yeah, I really love Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. That was really good as well.
What TV channel doesn't exist that should?
What TV channel?
Yeah, it doesn't exist, but you wish it did.
Like a TV channel for what? Like
any topic that you would want to watch that's not there. Well, let me back up. Do you even watch television?
Honestly, no. Like a little bit, but not really.
How do you consume your media?
How do I consume my media? I do watch quite a bit of YouTube. I do a lot of reading. And also, what's the other thing? Oh, I love Pinterest. And what's the other thing that I'm like? Oh, I take just like online classes. Like that takes up my day. There's this platform called Masterclass. So you can just like.
I've had it. I still have it. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. So I just, every time I watch something, I always want to be benefiting in some way. So yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie, probably Black Swan.
What's the last movie that made you cry?
Oh gosh, I haven't watched a movie in so long. I can't think, but one that comes to mind that did make me cry was Hatchie, which is like a dog movie. Animal movies always make me cry.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. Honestly, I don't really know. I feel like
you need to find one.
Yeah.
Favorite food?
Probably, I just love like basic Chinese food. I think that's just my go-to every time.
If you had a sash, like a sash, what would it say?
It would say girl in progress.
Which that is the theme from your YouTube description as well.
Yeah.
What's ahead for you? What's the next chapter?
After Glow Up Diaries season 2, it's the it's the dating diaries. So we'll see how that goes.
So how many dates have you gone on for that so far?
I actually haven't really started. I did go on a date recently, but it wasn't, I'm not really focused on it. I'm trying to finish Glow Up Diaries season 2, and I'm trying to just like take it one thing at a time.
So I saw, I think it was an Instagram post where you were talking about the dating diaries.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a good idea actually. Because originally I was like, how am I? Because the Globe Diaries is filming my journey, so I'm like, oh, how am I going to film myself on these dates? And I realized I'm thinking of a creative way to do it without filming the dates. So yeah, I'm just running through a lot of creative ways to show this while making it as authentic as possible, because I kind of realized if I have the camera, there's no way it's going to be authentic. Like that's hard.
So just to get our listeners up to date, what was the general concept that you put out there?
For the dating diaries?
The dating diaries, yeah.
Oh, originally it was like sort of like the Bachelor vibes kind of thing, where it's like, if you want to come on a date with me, but I would vlog it like vlog style. So it's more like a diary form. Yeah. I think it's just, I ended up going on a date with one guy, and he was like, see, this is the interesting thing. He was looking forward to being on it. And I think that there's this weird thing of like, okay, wait, do you actually like me, or do you just want to be on this series? So. Yeah.
Do you have any secret projects you want to tell us about?
Secret projects.
Here's your time to tell us your secret project.
Honestly, I'm just trying to finish season 2. So I don't really have anything at the moment.
So where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on YouTube, Olivia D'Andrea, and on Instagram, also Olivia D'Andrea, Twitter, and TikTok.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's it for this time. If you enjoyed our podcast, please write a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If you have any questions about influencers or suggestions for future episodes, email them to John at Pfeiffer@pfeifferlaw.com. Thank you for listening.